E3 is fast approaching, and of course, that means we're getting very close to the reveal of our next Smash fighter. There's only 2 fighters left, unless they throw us a curveball, so tensions are, well, high. I'll preface this by saying, no matter who we get, at the end of the day, I'll be happy. After all, I got Joker and Byleth. So I can't really complain no matter what happens. However, that doesn't mean I don't have my own hopes on who the last 2 fighters could be. So, without further ado, here are my top 5 picks for the last remaining DLC fighters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But Sue, didn't you say that this was a top 5? Yes. Yes, I did. I juked you. Absolutely clowned on you. Buffooned you, if you will. Trolled, even. Number 6 is Hatsune Miku. Moving on. Okay, hear me out. A gacha game character. Specifically either Gran from Granblue or Yuden from Dragalia Lost. In terms of Gran, I don't really have that much history with him. I've liked the character for a while, from watching some of the anime and playing some of the Granblue Fantasy Versus game, cause God knows, I ain't playing the mobile game. Regardless though, Gran, with his various classes, has tons of moveset potential. I mean, the man literally uses every type of weapon out there. Of course, they could also just base it off of how he plays in Granblue Fantasy Versus, which, while more basic, would work just fine, and it would be a fun character at that. Meanwhile, I've been playing Dragalia Lost since day 1, and it's safe to say that I have an unhealthy addiction to that game, and it's totally not just because they added Joker Persona 5. I also really like Yuden. Even if that rat bastard wouldn't show up in his Gala form until I paid to spark him. Yuden, or if you prefer, Prince, would be pretty much on the same level as Gran in Versus, but with one key difference: the ability to transform into a dragon. Throughout the match, he could build up his dragon gauge and transform mid-match. I'd imagine this would be like Arsene, but altering his entire moveset rather than just buffing his moves like Arsene does with Joker. It might be a bit ambitious though, maybe too ambitious for Sakurai and his team to feel like doing, but I still think it would be really enjoyable. Oh yeah, and I mean, if you really want to be funny, you could just add Alphonse from Fire Emblem Heroes instead. I'll gladly take that too. To be honest, this next character is from a series I got into because of Smash leaks, and I say that with as many quotation marks as possible. A while back, in like July 2020, I saw one particular leak about a Falcom character coming to Smash. Either Reen from Trails of Cold Steel, or Adol from Ys. I had seen Reen before, but I thought Adol looked especially cool, so I looked into Ys, quickly buying and playing through the entirety of Ys 8. And let me tell you, this game, absolutely phenomenal. One of the best action RPGs I've ever played, as a matter of fact. Adol himself is mostly a silent protagonist, which, if you know me, is a trope I'm very fond of. He appears in every single Ys game, aside from the first canonical game, and has many different movesets as a result. So, of course, tons of moveset potential. But that's also part of the problem. What moves do we choose? That's one even I'm not entirely sure of. I've only played Ys 8 and a bit of Ys Origins so far, which Adol isn't even in, so I can't say for sure how his moveset would look. Of course, there's only so much that can be done with a sword, so I'd imagine it'd be pretty easy to tell what he'll play like. A rushdown sword character, akin to Roy, which, to me, sounds super cool. This, of course, will likely irritate Smash fans, who want nothing but their favorite classic 3D platformer from the 90s. But if I had given a single shit about that before, then I wouldn't have been so adamant about Byleth in Smash. Did I mention the music in Ys absolutely slaps? Cause boy does it! Falcom in general has some of the best music out there. Even if Reen gets in over Adol, I truly can't complain. Falcom music in Smash alone is enough for me. A little bit before Byleth was revealed, a common consensus among the Smash community was that Dante was almost definitely going to be in Smash. So, with that in mind, I decided to look into Devil May Cry more. I started playing the first Devil May Cry game, I watched clips of Dante from some of the games, and I quickly came to the conclusion that he was in my top 5 most wanted. However, in December, I started, played, and beat Devil May Cry 5 in 2 days. I fell in love with the game more than any of the Devil May Cry games I played before. As a result, my most wanted list for Smash changed drastically. Dante went from like 4th on my list to not on my list at all. Okay. Hear me out. I still wouldn't mind Dante in Smash. In fact, he'd probably get me almost the same amount of hype that Nero would. But if I was the one making decisions, I'd pick Nero over Dante any day. I'm a huge fan of Nero and his character, but I also think he's great for Smash based on how he plays in Devil May Cry 5. Whether they use his Devil Breakers or his Demon Arm from 4, Nero could prove to be a really badass character, just like Dante would. Nero's arm has a sort of grappling hook effect, so in Smash, he could use this move to pull the opponents in to continue combos. This would have to be watered down from how it works in Devil May Cry 5, mostly because being able to use it constantly would be pretty busted, but it would allow for some really badass combos that would be hype as hell to see in tournament. On top of this, Nero could also rev his Vroom Vroom sword. Yes, I know it's called Rose Queen. Which would also allow for really cool combo finishers. I imagine Nero would be a relatively complicated character to get the hang of, which would only make him more sick when you get the hang of him. Besides, Ultimate could use some more characters that don't just use the same 2 combos throughout the whole match. I'll be honest. This character was on the list before I had even played more than 5 hours of the game. And that character is 2B. Even from the very start of playing Nier Automata, I knew for a fact that I wanted 2B in Smash. She was absolutely amazing, and it was so fun trying to kick ass with her. Then of course, after beating 2B's story in Nier Automata, I wanted her in even more. First of all, she's just a really cool character. But that aside, her moveset could be really interesting in Smash as well. Of course, she could be like Byleth, where depending on which direction or which move she's using, she switches weapons. However, it could also be cool if you changed all of her specials to her greatsword. I'd imagine this could function somewhat similar to how Min Min is able to use both arms. But the only problem with that is if you do that, then she might not be able to use her robot gun. So, I don't know, it might not be that interesting. This is why I'm not the character designer. Also, 9S would be a sick alternative costume, but they don't play the same, and 9S is also shorter, so yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. But I can dream, okay? Okay, this part's not scripted, but it's important, okay? So, as I was editing, and by that I mean as I was procrastinating from editing by playing Nier Automata, I beat the game, and let me just say, my most wanted, actually, or at least tied with my number 1, is actually 9S. I'm gonna be honest with you, completely honest with you, but I know for a fact that 9S is not getting in, so I'm keeping 2B in this spot. But just so you know, I really want 9S. Anyway, let's move on to number 1. You probably saw this one coming. Bubsy baby! Just kidding, I'm fucking with you. It's Yuri Lowell. It's no secret that Yuri Lowell from Tales of Vesperia is easily my most wanted character for Smash. Contrary to what my video on the subject may suggest, I don't actually feel all too confident that Yuri's gonna make it in. One thing I said in the Yuri video that remains true though, is that Yuri is one of the most popular Tales of characters, so I still do think it's possible, but as it stands now, Lloyd seems to be the clear pick out of the two. Let me be completely clear. I will be equally excited for both. However, Yuri to me is a more interesting character, so if I had to pick, I'd pick him. I might have a different opinion on that when I actually finish Symphonia, but I digress. Anyway, like Nero, Yuri is a character that largely focuses on combos, so I'd imagine he'd have a similar function in Smash. Maybe Ghost Wolf as a side B, which could be used as a cross-up, as well as Azura Edge as a neutral B. Yuri has so many arts that he could honestly have tons of possibilities for how his moveset could play out, though. They could even add the ability to link arts together, just like in Vesperia, which function in a similar way to Terry's move-canceling tag. On top of that, Yuri could alter his arts depending on how long you hold the button, or based on a meter of some kind. Azura Edge to Azura Wolf Strike, crushing Eagle to Guardian Field, things like that. I have heard some people suggest that Yuri should be bad in the air since Vesperia doesn't exactly focus on air combat, aside from Judith, but I don't agree with this at all. Slightly off topic, but I'm so sick of the good on the ground, bad in the air gimmick. It's beyond lame. Please let that gimmick die with Little Mac and Min Min. To be honest, I'll even be hyped for Saray, Kretz, Luke, etc. Even the new guy from Arise would be sick. I just want Tails and Smash, man. And there you have my top 5 characters for Smash DLC. Like I said, whether or not these actually happen doesn't really matter that much. I'll be happy with whoever makes it in. Except Yuri. If Yuri isn't in, kneecaps will be shattered.
Don't leave them here. Let us hide friendless at a